Hey lovers, this episode contains material of a highly sensitive nature, including mention of childhood trauma that may be triggering for some individuals.
This podcast is produced by Sunnydale Studios.
I don't want just anybody. Let me treat you like somebody. Try to dive on a Rari. It's forever, we ain't stopping.
Hello lovers, welcome to Big Love Energy, the podcast. I'm your host, Jesselou. We are in episode 8. The episode today is The Other Woman with Bondi Brat. We are joined by Bianca, who is known online as Bondi Brat, and Bianca has amassed a huge TikTok following by sharing her thoughts and experiences as an escort. She's fascinating, intelligent, and I can't wait for you to hear this episode. Let's get into it. Hello, Bianca. Welcome to Big Love Energy.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. I can't thank you enough for joining us today. I have so many questions for you, but honestly, we put up a question box on our Big Love Energy podcast Instagram earlier this week, and we have never had so many questions when we said you were coming on today. So
no way.
That's a vibe.
That's insane.
And we save those for the end, but and we do try and answer all of them because there's so many that will literally take up half the show. So I've got a few questions to pick your beautiful brain, but then we'll end with the hot cues from the listeners.
Awesome.
I first came across your iconic energy in a late night TikTok deep dive, as you do, and your video, I believe it was captioned, what your husbands have taught me. And I was like, well, here we go. And it is just 1 minute of truth bombs, and you talk about your experience as a full service escort and just deliver some hard truths. And I've shown numerous friends, and I've literally held my phone up in their faces and been like, watch this video. And the way you just everyone's jaw just drops. And I just think, because in this age bracket, in my near 40s, this is real. It's everywhere. And it's just people are dropping like flies, and to have someone on the front line sort of have such an open perspective and to just tell it from the other side as the other woman, it's just number one, amen to you. So vulnerable of you. But in that video, it's just so you just feel so seen in the way, and I can't talk from experience, but from what I can imagine, it's just women going, oh my gosh, there it is. Because I'm gonna say a few of the little truth bombs, and I won't do it justice, but you do say in the clip, speaking to these women, that you can do better. Mm-hmm. He is comfortable, but also it's quite often these women that make them feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. He loves the kids but doesn't want them taken away, so he wants his cake and to eat it too. Mm-hmm. He needs someone to ground them at home because they are the wild ones that get out on the source on the town, and they need someone at home. It's the hunt they want, not the catch. They are scared little boys. They are scared to say what they want and what they fantasize. And if they leave, it's not because they are leaving for someone better. It's for someone easier. Yes. My favorite bit is women rule the world. Yeah. And these men know that, and that they keep these women at bay so you don't reach your full potential. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are just a few of the bangers in that video, but I don't do it justice. And I do say that if that triggers you at all, if that's something that intrigues you, do go find Bondi Brat on TikTok. Watch the video. It's like a pinned video. It has over 7 million views. That is a lot of eyeballs, and it's amazing. And I just think how incredibly vulnerable and strong of you. And I just want to know what the sentiment was behind posting that video.
Well, thank you, first of all.
I just chewed your ear off straight up. I'm like,
It's so bizarre hearing your words quoted back to you, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So honestly, I moved up to Queensland because I just was burnt out in Sydney and I needed a break from everything. Just everything, including work, life. And I was just holding on to a lot of words in my mind that I never expressed because I didn't know how. And I literally was just laying in bed. Like, I had all my boxes everywhere. I was on a mattress on the floor. I had a black eye because I just walked into a barbell at the gym, clean
I did see that.
into it, literally. And I was just laying there and I was like, I've got some shit to say. Like, that was literally it. And it wasn't directed at all men or any man in particular. This was just an accumulation of little bits that I've learned from sleeping with people that a majority are married and listening to women and being a woman myself, being cheated on, you know, letting people walk all over me, you know, letting people get comfortable, knowing it, not knowing how to set boundaries, like all these things. And it was just like bubbling in my head. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a video. I had no intent of anything. I just wanted to speak. You know, honestly, I thought that I was going to get like, there was going to be like witches hunt against me by women because, you know, it can trigger people. It's the truth and it can trigger people. And I didn't even think of that. I just did it. And then I checked my phone and it was just going off. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
But there was no like intent behind it. I just purely wanted to learn. It was my entire TikTok was just for me to learn how to start expressing my emotions verbally out loud, because I've always been a writer. I always write. Like I said, I do poetry too. And I also shut off in front of people. I'm very avoidant. So if I have a conflict with someone or you know, something that's come up for me, I struggle to like verbalize it straight away. I'll let it boil and sit and then I explode. And I was like, this is not serving me. I need to learn how to just start speaking my truth. So that's what it was. And it was just about that as well. And then it kind of continued on from there. Like I think a few prior to that, I'd done a few journal entries, you know, read a few journal entries out and, you know, spoke my mind a little bit. But it wasn't until I made that one that it just kind of skyrocketed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And the comments, there are over 11,000 of them, are full of positivity.
Yeah,
and
majority.
Yeah, from men and women and everything you had to say. It was just so refreshing to see this topic, normally quite taboo, spoken about so openly and bravely by someone who has obviously done a lot of work to be able to read into and dissect these men and what we're all thinking. But what has led you to be so insightful? Like you touch on the fact that you're quite spiritual and you've done shadow work, and that you've dealt with your trauma and you're very different now to, you know, the woman that you were before you dealt with your trauma. What's the work that you've done?
So I think you can never really deal with your trauma, but I'm constantly like dealing with it and working with it and trying to work with it instead of letting it consume me. But how I first started doing this, sort of like becoming one with myself and accepting all myself, was actually on the back of a mushroom trip.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I, with no intent for finding myself, I just did it and could visually see that we're all connected, that everything is connected and everything is love and everyone just wants love and connection, to be seen, you know, to feel that. And I could see it and feel it without even knowing. It was just all around me, everything. And it just really changed my mind about the whole why me, why has this happened to me, fuck life, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, wow, shit, everything's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Big love energy.
Yeah, literally. And then it kind of, I always saw this practitioner that does NLP, which is timeline therapy. Yeah. Which is, do you know anything about timeline therapy? Yeah. So basically, like, long story short, it was created for veterans from the war to rewire their trauma in their brain about things so they could function. And they've like put this into a practice that people can just do now. And I saw this practitioner on my Instagram all the time. And then after I did that, it popped up again. And she was saying, if you're resisting this, ask yourself why. And I was like, this is a sign. Yes. So I started doing that. And that was like a 6-week course. And that allowed me to go into traumatic events that I've had in my life. A lot of them around men. A lot of them, people just do not understand this, before I got into this industry. So a lot of my trauma happened from when I was in relationships. Yep. So relationships, men in my family, strangers, not clients. Yeah, right. So it's prior to that. And I started working on that and unlocking that and realizing that my brain is just so capable if I just understand it and lean into these emotions instead of trying to push it down. And I just lent into it more. And it was just amazing what came up for me. I could go back to memories, remember things. And then I finished that, and you kind of get in this like false sense of comfortability that you are all good, you are all healed, I am great, I don't need to do anything else now. And that was very much not the case. And shit started kind of falling apart for me again. I was like, I need to keep working on this. It's not one thing and then be done. You know, it's constant. So then I found a guy called Charles. He's in Bondi. He's amazing. And he does shadow work. And I was at the point where I was like, I don't know how to talk to men. Okay, I can deal with my trauma. Great. But if there's a man standing in front of me, I choke. I do not know how to be soft and vulnerable with you. I am so defensive. I'm so angry. Even if I don't want to be, I'm subconsciously villainizing you to make some narrative of why you're a cunt. Yes. And I was just not serving me. So I reached out to this guy, literally messaged him saying, you need to help me.
Wow.
Like, you need to help me. I need help. I was just like in despair, just kept pushing people away. So we did our first shadow work session one-on-one in person with a man, and I sat down with him and I was like, I don't trust you. And he's like, I know, it's okay. And I'm like, what do you want from this? Like, what's your motive? You know, what's your intention? Like, I don't believe you just want to help people. Like, what the fuck? What do you want? Men, you want to take, you know?
Yeah.
And he just held the space for me, let me express that without taking it personally, and just let me, you know, be there. And then he showed me a side of a man that I've never experienced, which is like this masculine side that is like a divine masculine, with also embodying their feminine and letting me feel safe enough to be feminine and speak. And it just, afterwards, I was just like, wow. And he repeats back to you what you're saying. So you're being heard. Yeah. You're being heard from a man, which is so powerful from a woman's perspective. So we just kept doing sessions like that. And it was just slowly unlocking for me. And we only did a few. This kind of therapy, opposed to talk therapy, is just profound.
Yes.
It just gets right into the cause. Yeah. It's just like fucking tunnel vision.
I know. I find that people get so scared because they think it's such a process. But I've said it before.
It's literally, it's like just, it's because it's all wanting to come out. Yeah. Someone's just helping you get there to take it out yourself. You are doing, they're holding the space for you. Yeah. But really, you're just leaning in and understanding yourself and giving yourself love in areas that you haven't been loved. And basically you're just going in and giving yourself what your younger self needed at that time that no one gave you. And then you go in and give that love to yourself. And like, that's essentially what shadow work does. And that's what he gave me, and from a man. So it's just helped me I don't look at all men as assholes and dogs anymore. It's something I'm trying to get comfortable with though, because I spent a whole majority of my life hating them. Yeah. And now I don't. Yeah. And that's hard to digest, especially if a lot of men have abused me. Yeah. So it's like, am I giving power back to my abuser, or am I just seeing love in others? You know, they're not all the same. Like, it's a conflicting. Yes. But it's something I'm still maneuvering through. But now I just do online shadow work with Triba, which is a company that Charles started. Yeah. And it's online. So it's got like 6 sessions a week, breath work, meditation, shadow work, and you go on and share and you talk with people, and then you get the privilege to listen to other people. Wow. And you can learn from them. And it's just so powerful. And it's out there. Yeah. Like, most people wouldn't even know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so accessible as well. Yeah. And it's just a different kind. And then it allows you to continue doing talk therapy, but I do it with myself now. Okay. Talk to myself now. Yeah. And give myself the space. And it's just a whole level of understanding that I just never knew I was capable of doing, but we like all are. Our brains are so incredibly smart. Like, yeah. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. So from that chat, from that video, right? Is this what men need to talk? Yeah. Like, yeah. Definitely. They're not communicating. They're holding it all in. They're building it up, and in turn thinking that they're super masculine and like it's all about ego. But the way through this is actually opening up, talking and leaning into that feminine energy. 100%. Yeah. 100%. I think as well though, like, society has been so heavily constructed that men are to be a certain way. Yeah. And it's only the recent years that's becoming unstuck and they're getting more space. But I think that would also give people a very, like, men are like a trauma state about mind. Like, you're being told to be this way. You're feeling emotional. You're feeling soft. You're feeling vulnerable. You're told to get harden up. Don't cry. Don't be a girl. And now you're being told it's okay. Be soft. Be feminine. Lean into your feminine. Like, you know. It's confusing. It's confusing. And it's, like, confusing for everyone. And I actually feel scared to talk about these things on men's behalf because, you know, I'm not taking away from women. It's Absolutely. Just I don't get that at all. Yeah, it's just another, like, aspect of people. Like, we're just all human beings. Yeah. And not all men are, like, abusive and whatever like that. No. But, like, I feel like all men do need space to be able to talk more. Yes. I'm not condoning, like, cheating. That's not what I'm saying here. But, like, I don't think men have the space to talk and have that intimacy of words of affirmations, a space to talk, you know, like we do with our girlfriends. Guys don't really do that. Yeah. So I think what men do is, instead of having the hard conversation with their partner and being vulnerable, they go find someone new like myself. You don't know me. I don't know you. I'm just going to unleash on you. And then I get to have sex with my therapist, basically. So, yeah, you know, but yeah, it's, I do think that if people were just a little bit kinder and just more open to receive everyone, men and women, I think people would be able to talk more.
Yeah.
But,
no,
but there's also, don't get me wrong, there are men that just love to cheat.
Yeah, right.
Like there are men that just,
they'll be loving this. They'll be like, I'm not being seen and heard.
No, there's not. I'm talking about a specific type of male. There's also it's very diverse, but I'm talking about the ones that I can sympathize and empathize with.
Yeah,
there are people out there that genuinely are quite disrespectful to their partners and that sort of thing, but they're not the clients that I really engage with. So
amazing. Okay. Next question. Next topic. I'm going to say it. I am a hot-blooded, sexual, saucy woman. And I feel like that's going to be used as a highlight for sure. This is a safe space.
Go off. I love this.
But it's taken me a long time to be okay with that, especially being a victim of ongoing sexual abuse as a kid.
Yeah.
Being in touch with my sensuality and sexuality as an adult, there was a while there that there was so much shame I held around that. And it got to a point after a lot of therapy and mental breakdowns when I just realized it didn't serve me and that there is a goddess inside all of us. And accepting that has allowed me to take back my power, essentially.
Yeah.
It also has taken a very loving, understanding partner who's sound very that energy that you're talking about with your the shadow worker. Just being given that space to be like, you're safe, you can say what you want and I'm not going anywhere. I'm hearing you, to be able to delve into that and get through that. So I'm very grateful for that, because I know not everyone has that, but I do want this feeling for others. I do want women, abuse or not, to like just get rid of that level of shame and prudeness around sex. Like
definitely.
It's rife. And but I think
rife.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that. I love that. I'm gonna add that to my vocab.
Wordsmiths Anonymous. But I think we're all a bit saucy and we're all suppressing it. It just creates these ongoing issues. And so I'd love to know how your beautiful mind works around this. And because you're like obviously such a naturally amazing perceiver of the way humans do things and a deep thinker. So how do we all lighten up about sexy times? Or do we need to be more serious? Do we need to take it more seriously?
No.
No?
No. It's a fun act between two consenting adults. It doesn't need to be that serious. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't need to be that deep.
Yeah.
But it also does need to be that deep.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain that part of it. But I just think it's really hard for me to understand, because I've never looked at sex taboo. Yeah. So when people look at me in my job and they say it's taboo or sex taboo, I just am like,
yeah,
it does kind of go over my head a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But I think a way that people can embrace sex a bit more is by embracing sex with themselves first. So don't look at it as like you're doing this for somebody else. Doing it for you, because you feel sexy, because I want to be sexy, because I want to love myself and touch myself, and I want to, be with someone else. If you change the sort of way you're looking at it, you're not doing it for someone else, you're doing it for yourself, then it can be a lot more freeing.
So powerful.
About it.
Yeah.
I used to have a problem with sex. I was not very sexual growing up. Yeah. Because I really hated myself. So it wasn't until I got into sex work that I like surrendered into my feminine energy, and it was like, okay. Otherwise it was all only boy. I could probably count on, I've got a high body count. I could probably count on two hands the people that I have like had sober sex with, like probably less, like sober like sex with, if it's not a client. Do you know what I mean? I don't actually sleep around much because I did not know how to express myself. It's a lot of insecurities and that sort of stuff. And it wasn't until I got into work that I realized, like, how powerful sex can be. Yeah. How like embracing your feminine sexual energy, how powerful that is. It's like a superpower that you're sitting dormant on because of the shame, religion, marriage, ideas of what sex should be, shaming people if you've slept with too many people, worrying about other people's, all these sorts of things. You're making it so much bigger than what it needs to be. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest expression of love. It should be big, but for the right reasons, not for all these other ones. And I think if people just like step back from it a little bit and figure out why they like sex, what about it they like, and made it more personal to them, they'd be able to enjoy it more instead of worrying so much about what other people are doing with their sex life.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm babbling.
No, 1000% yes. Okay. So good. So powerful. On that, I saw in one of your videos, because I stalk you like a mad woman, I was like deep diving even like this morning, like more. I saw you partake in heels class, and I do too. I go to Heels by Misha.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, and I've not been. Misha, I'm sorry, it's been a long time, but it's not been the year for it. But when I do go, it is literally so powerful. Like that. When I think of Untamed and Wild, I think of you walk out of there, your posture changes, you walk differently, and it unlocks this energy in us. And I just want to know, apart from heels class, what else do you do to sit in your feminine?
Okay. With heels though, I
yeah,
need
right.
to say,
Tell me, yeah.
because if anyone's watching this, like I get nervous as fuck going into heels class. Like I am like shaking. Like when they do the walk, and because the one I went to, you walk by yourself and you're strutting down, everyone's watching you.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm used to being sexy for myself and a man, but not in front of other women. I'm like trying to do it real good,
huh?
you know?
Yep.
And you do feel nervous and that sort of thing, but that nervous energy gets so quickly turned into like this sexual power. And at the end, you do walk out different.
Yeah.
You do feel sexy. You walk past the mirror and do a little dance.
It's
you know
the
what
best.
I mean? And also watching other women be in their feminine energy
Absolutely.
is so fucking powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
it's contagious.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is so good. Anyone watching, do a heels class.
Yeah.
It is
get into it.
life-changing.
Yeah.
But for myself, what I do on my own is I love to dance.
You're amazing.
So yeah.
Pretty sure you're my soulmate.
Yeah. Hey. I love to dance and move my body, and more of an intuitive kind of flow, opposed to like, I mean, I did a hip hop class once and it was so bad. It was so bad. I literally
no
was
such
like,
thing. I don't believe
I thought I could dance. I cannot dance to rhythm. Like I just need to like close my eyes and go with it. You know what I mean? But if there's like moves, no, forget about it. But I love to dance by myself, and what I do is I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I'll be wearing, sometimes I'm naked or I'll be in just underwear. And I dance and move my body and like touch my body how I would touch a lover's, or they'd touch mine. And I move and I look at the way my hand goes over my body, and I just think of like admiring thoughts.
Oh my gosh.
And just like beauty and love. And I look, and then I look in the mirror and I really consciously have to look at the parts of my body. No, don't look at the parts of my body that I like fixate on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time I'll look in the mirror and I'll just stare at my stomach.
Yeah.
Or I'll stare at something I don't like. And then that's all I see. But then when I'm doing this practice, I just look at me. I look at my eyes. I look at my body. I don't focus anywhere. I scan everywhere. And it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful.
Yes.
And I'll do that, and I'll flow, and I'll dance, and I'll touch my body and just move around and stretch as well.
Yeah.
Put stretching into the movement as well. And it just like spreads the energy around, and that's what I'll do. And I'll watch myself.
Amazing.
Also, I love to sing.
Yes.
I'm fucking shit, but I love to sing.
Love
and
it.
I'll just sing and dance in my lounge room. And when I'm not doing those things, like I would do them every night at one point. I'd usually smoke a joint and do it as well.
Yeah.
And just flow. And when I'm not doing that, I feel like uptight almost.
Yeah.
Like this, like I feel locked. I feel locked. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm really not in my feminine. I'm really in my masculine right now.
Yeah.
And that's how I drop into it. That I love to write as well. But like movement for me is just so big.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And like even before I see clients, I will dance for like half an hour first in front of the mirror and just really move my body and connect my mind to body together.
Amazing.
And then that way I can just really connect with them. And so, it does take me a little bit of time to dip my mind and body together, because I'm so in my head. I'm such a deep thinker.
Yeah.
And it takes me a while to get out of it and into my body.
Yeah.
So I just have to take a while to get into it, and then I just really enjoy it. And my body moves better. Like it's like at the start of a heels class, you're kind of stiff.
Yeah.
And at the end,
Tin
you're like,
Man vibes.
Yeah. And at the end, you've like sat into your body.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. Movement for me is just so important. Movement, flow, just like moving with music.
And you love music.
I love music.
Yeah.
I love it. Just got my Spotify wrap up.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I'm scared to see mine.
Yeah,
It's eclectic. What's your vibe musically?
It's alternative R&B.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So there's
And
hip hop
they said
moves.
I'm an adventurer.
Oh.
No, there's no hip hop. It's not. It's like there's an artist called June. I don't know if you know June.
Yeah.
That's my most listened
Amazing.
to. Yeah. So that's
of course you love that music.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like cosmic.
Yeah. Yeah. So what has your experience been like with people that are negative about the line of work you do? Like I see you're super close with your mum, so your friends and family know it, like obviously are super open and okay with it. Like was it always that way? And how do you deal with negativity and negative people? Because you would get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The honest answer is I don't deal with them.
Yeah, right.
I don't.
Teflon shoulders. I love it. I do the same.
I don't.
No time.
I don't. With sex work, I am so sure of myself and what I'm doing. It's why I can speak about it so confidently and freely.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sure of myself in this situation that what anyone has to say to me that's negative, it doesn't even absorb into me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I genuinely do not care because I know myself so well.
Yeah.
So I'm confident. If I have people around me that are being negative, I don't shut them out either. I want to understand why.
Yeah. Right.
Why do you feel like this? What is it about my job that is not people commenting on my TikTok and stuff
Different.
like that?
That's
no,
a different
but
beast.
If I'm in person and someone says something, I'm going to, instead of being like, fuck you, blah, 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 I'm like, why? Why do you think like this? Like, explain it to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't always think the way that I think. I wasn't always a sex worker.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was not good as well.
Yeah.
Taboo. You're selling yourself for money. That was my idea. And it was so derogatory the way that I would think it.
Yeah.
So I used to think like that. I don't anymore. So I will take the time to understand why someone else does.
Yeah.
And if they take the time to understand me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Fine. That's it. We can agree to disagree. If you don't project what do you think on me and we've taken time, that's cool. We can still move forward in life. But it's when people, like I've cut people off. I've had a girlfriend of like 8 years. And we had a run-in before about my job and we spoke about it and it was all good and it was she's very traditional and I'm not, and that's okay. But then we had another situation where it got brought up again. I was saying how I want to meet someone, I want to be in love, and it was quickly met with, you're not going to meet anyone fucking other people. Oof. And I was taken back by it and I was like, well, I don't believe that. That's
bullshit.
Yeah, and it's not really the way that you're saying it is not the way that it is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't believe it. But then the person, they feel the need to keep going. Like they want to tell you how it is. They stroke their ego. And I would just be like, look, I love you so much, but I don't want you in my life because you're making me feel shit about myself. Yeah. No. You're making me feel shit. Yeah. I'm not going to defend myself to you. Yeah. So I just don't deal with them, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're so confident about aspects of your life and who you are, it doesn't really matter what other people think.
Absolutely.
As long as what you think about yourself is sound, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then as for my parents, like, oh, my mom cracks me up. Okay, so what I do.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, so we did not always have a close relationship. Yeah. My upbringing was very broken, I guess. Yeah. And I would say that I got kicked out of the house when I was like 17 years old. So I was like doing my own thing. And then there was a time where I didn't talk to either of my parents and I really resented them. Yeah. It wasn't until I started doing shadow work that I stopped looking at them as mum and dad and you owe me this and just human beings.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You just did your best with what you had. And that's it. You can love everyone if you look at it like that. And we've now come together as we're adults. So we have an adult relationship. So I will talk about my job. I won't go into detail unless you want it. But like, I talk about it and it is what it is. And I asked my mum, I said, what do you think about my job? And she said, I don't like it, but I support you and I accept you. And if that's what you want to do, then that's okay. Heaven. So that's it. I don't expect people to like it. You don't have to like what I do, but you got to accept me and, know that I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's it. And then my dad said to me, are you happy doing what you're doing? I said, yes. And he said, that's all that matters. And I won't go into depth, but what I will do is I will normalize it. Yes. So if I'm sitting around and I think of something that happened at work, I'll mention it. Yeah. So for example, me and my dad are sitting down and this is how I think you can normalize a job a lot more. Instead of just being like, hi, I'm a sex worker and that's it. Invite people into conversations about it so they can not feel like so nervous. Yeah. So I'm sitting down with my dad and we're drinking a wine around the fire and oh my God, what I blanked. Michael Hutchison's band, NXS. Yeah. NXS came on and I love NXS. And we're listening to it singing. I was like, oh my God, I had a client at the Intercontinental and he showed me his room. That's where Michael Hutchison passed away. And that's all I said. Yeah. But it's clear it's at work. He's like, oh, cool. Like, oh, that's interesting. It's just a normal conversation. How you would at work. Like, oh, so-and-so said this. Like, it's just normal. Yeah. Don't need to go into detail. Don't want to make him uncomfortable, but I want to make people comfortable with me being comfortable with it. Do you know what I mean?
And that you're a mainstream human being.
Exactly. Like, you're normal. It's normal. Yeah. It's normal. It's not weird. It's not taboo.
Yeah.
It's a normal job. It's a job like everyone else's. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do, because
Yeah.
I know that not a lot of people think that, and that's okay, but a lot of people don't have normal conversations about it as well.
Yeah.
So I just slowly like little sprinkles everywhere. Like my grandma knows as well. She's like, oh, you stupid girl. You're never going to get a husband. You stupid girl. You know what I mean? Which is old school Mauritian. Like, you
Yeah.
know, she's saying what she thinks about it, but that's okay. Say what you think, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I do love, like, the algorithm just loves me now because I see the, like, you know, the dancers who show their day in the life of and strippers and all, like, it's just showing me all the things. And I love that it's even like Anna Paul being the most famous influencer these days, like, and she openly says, like, guys, you know, I'm a sex worker through OnlyFans. That's what I am. I love that it's becoming just normal, because it's one of, like, the most longest withstanding professions of all time, like, and it's all of a sudden just been like, oh, it's ick, but I feel like there's a place for it, honestly.
Yeah, I think because as well people have an emotional attachment to sex.
Yeah.
And my job is to have sex. I think they're more involved in it than they are. It's hard to separate that.
Yeah.
I have sex with my husband and we love each other. I have, you know, it means something more, and you're just giving it away. This is the mentality.
Yeah.
And because you have this personal relationship with sex in your real life, you can't look at it as work. My sex in real life and my sex in work is so different.
Yeah, right.
It just does not even compare, you know? And so it's just a whole nother type of sex, a whole nother type of act. It's just a job. So yeah, it's interesting.
Oh my gosh. I just adore you for just being so open and sprinkling that the normality of the conversation. It's amazing. And honestly, just you would have helped so women, even with just that one video, just to be seen. And I've even shown friends, you know, on the other side, like men, and they're just like, oh wow, that's triggering. So you're so eloquent, and the way you talk about it is so beautiful and so needed. So you're a superstar.
Oh, thanks.
But I like I said earlier, the people have spoken. They've got a lot of questions, so we're going to move on to them, and they're fun. So we're going to go into our segment, Love Letters. Love Letters. So this one, number 1, hey Bianca.
Hi.
I love the energy you give off, and you seem so emotionally intelligent and free. What helps you let go of people's opinions? I don't mean just surrounding sex work, but everything. I feel like this is the only thing holding me back in my life. You inspire me and would love to hear what helped you. It's like, dear Dolly.
This is crazy. Well, thank you. I'm embarrassed.
This is what makes you embarrassed?
Literally. You want to ask me questions or why? Honestly, I touched on this a little bit before, but it's basically confidence within yourself. You're confident about something, you know it really well. You know, don't worry about how other people perceive it. But it's really hard to.
Yeah.
I'm not always confident in what I'm saying. You know, some things make me nervous, like especially leaning into holding space and sympathy for men, for example. I'm nervous about that. I'm not confident about that. I'm scared how people are going to perceive that. I do have these fears too, like definitely. I think a really good way to be okay with these fears is like figure out why. Go in and be like, why am I scared of how people perceive me? Like, what is about this that I'm scared of? Are you scared people are not going to like me? Okay, well, if people don't like me, what does that mean? And go, like get deeper and figure out what it is, and then understand yourself so deeply that it does not matter what anyone says, because you know. And you know that is the way that that's how I live my life, really. But there are things that I struggle with too. Like there are things that I have to work harder on. A lot of my you know, and that's just what I do. I'll just sit down and be like, okay, what's going on, Bianca? Let's just get deep to this. Yeah. Figure out what it is and understand myself. Yeah. And then I really just, the way other people perceive me is less and less on my mind. Yeah. But definitely there are things that are harder than others. Yeah. No, I've definitely in the last 3 years really had to channel that, like, your truth is your truth, your mine is mine. Exactly. Like it's honestly two different stories. Exactly. So as long as you can be sure of yourself and you've done everything that you can in your power to like be who you are and live in your truth, and you can't really control what else is happening around you. It's fucking hard though now with the internet, because everyone's in each other's shit. Like literally the noise. You're not having a conversation with someone in the street and like having a conversation and saying something, they're like, oh, and then talking about it and like figuring it out. You're saying things for everybody. Yes. All over the world. Yeah. I mean, everyone's so entitled to everyone's, to give their opinion on you, like now that it's hard, it's confronting. Like, you're scared you're going to say one thing and you could possibly get cancelled for having an opinion that you're just trying to work through. Yeah. So it's scary. Yeah. But like, I just feel like if you just show up as yourself and just back yourself, you really can't fail. Yeah. And like, fuck what people think, to be honest.
Yep. And it takes a brave soul to put yourself out there. So good on you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I have no idea. Like, I'm not even going to pretend. I got no idea. I could not tell you.
I feel like 10's a long time. 5, maybe 5.
Even 1 year, girl. I have no idea. I am just going with the flow. No, I literally, I don't know. I would like to be in a relationship. Yeah. I would like to be wealthy and healthy. Yeah. I would like to not be doing full service work anymore, definitely, but be established in something else. Yes. So I do feel like I would love to do something where I'm talking to people and getting to know people and interacting with people. I do love that aspect of my job. So something like that. But I don't know, well-traveled, definitely.
Yes, beautiful answer.
But yeah, I don't really know.
I love her. This is a question. I love her. She's an icon and how to attract more clients.
I'm just not going to get used to that.
They love you, Bianca.
It's so weird.
I love you.
Oh, my God. Okay. I don't, how you attract new clients or more clients. I just advertise on Scarlet Blue. And I'll be also advertising on a place called Ivy Socialite. My ad's currently down, but that is where I advertise. And people will just come. The trick is to give them a good experience when they're with you. Get your energy right. Give a really good time and they'll come back. The thing is with men love variety. So if you're a new girl on these websites, you're going to get booked up.
Yeah, right.
That's it. Because a majority of the men that are on Scarlet Blue or looking for escorts, it's not their first time. This is something they do regularly and, they see a new girl. Like, I don't know how else to say this, but they want to try.
Yeah.
Like, they want to give it a go. I don't know how to word it. So the trick is, I feel, is when they're there for the first time, really be present with them. Yeah. Give them everything in that moment. Be so present. Listen intently. Listen to their body. Give them the best experience that they can't get anywhere else with nobody else. Why would they go anywhere else when they can have this amazing experience with you and they'll come back? A lot of my clients are repeat clients. Okay. And that's the reason. And I think a lot of it comes down with energy, conversation, like the sex as well is important, but there's also that men do want intimacy outside of sex and they just don't receive it in their life. So laying there and talking and having a good conversation, actually listening to somebody, listening to a man talk, like, amazing. Great tool. Don't be looking at the time and, time watching. Yep. Obviously stay within your time and your boundaries, but also just make them feel like they are the king in that time and they will come back. Like, you're doing a job at the end of the day, giving that service. And that's why, like, I can only do a few clients a week. Yeah. Because I give so much.
Energy. Yeah.
You take my energy and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I need to, like, regroup after that. If you do too many, that's why a lot of women burn out in this industry, because you're giving a lot. Yeah. But I feel like that's how you get repeat clients. As for how you get clients, I just kind of let it happen. You just put your ad up, make sure your bio's a reflection of what you're going to give, get new photos, update your photos. I am a hypocrite because I've not updated my photos in a year and a half and I've had rhinoplasty. I don't even look the same. But like, I don't really think men notice much. But, just put out there what you want to be. Like, write the service you're going to give. Like, don't write stuff just for the sake of it. What who you are, put it out there and they'll come. Yeah. But it's really not it's not the kind of industry where you go looking for people. Yeah. You don't go and like hunt, really. I mean, you can. Yeah. I've been out at bars before and someone asked me for my number and I give them my work number. Yeah. And they message me and I just send them my ads. You know what I mean? Like, that's something I would do. But they come to you. I think it's how you keep them. That's more the focus. Yeah. The service you give. Yep. Focus on that rather than bringing them in, because it just happens. They just come.
Makes sense. What made you get into escorting, and is this a forever job?
I got into escorting on the back of working in a massage parlor. So I used to do erotic massage, which I loved.
Yeah, I bet.
I loved it. I prefer it, to be honest, to escorting. So I got into that, and I was working at a place called Nirvana in Sydney. I was there for a couple of years, and then COVID hit, and I had to go private. So then I transitioned to escort. Really, it was just kind of like a survival thing. By choice, like I always wanted to do escorting, but you kind of get in this like mentality that you need an establishment or you need someone else before you to go out on your own, like any sort of business.
Yeah.
So I was relying on the business to, I needed them.
Yeah.
And then the COVID made me push to realize I don't, and then go privately.
Yeah.
The reason why I enjoy massage more is just because you connect intimately before you're intimate.
Yeah.
And I prefer that.
Yeah.
And with that's why I'm doing like a rebranding at the moment. My ad's down. I'm doing a rebranding. I want my bookings to be massage based. If you're doing a 1 hour with me, I want to give you a nice massage first to connect with you, to connect your body. And like guys don't realize they love the massage. Yeah. It's like you're not having sex, but your body is pretty much. It's like very erotic, very sensual. So that's what I'm going to be rebranding and doing that sort of thing and changing my whole way of going about it. But that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
It's not forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to work forever in anything. Like I plan to be successful and wealthy and retire at some point. So no, it's not forever. But I don't know how long it's going to be for. I don't have a time frame. I do think I'm moving into a different way of it. So I used to be very physical, very porn star experience, very let's go and have an hour, we can fuck hard and do it all and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, see you later.
Yeah.
And I've had 3 months off, done a lot of soul searching, connecting, and I realized that doesn't serve me anymore. I want to connect more emotionally, not like emotionally, but I want to have a conversation, get to know each other,
It's a different frequency.
Be with a gentleman that respects my body and doesn't just want to use my body to masturbate in.
Yeah.
And so I'm changing my whole vibe about it and transitioning out of one way and going into another way. So
amazing.
No plans to exit soon, but I'm changing the way that I go about it.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it. What has been one of your biggest life lessons?
My biggest life lesson is literally just to accept all of you as just accept yourself 100%. The good, the bad, if you want to label it as bad, but just all your emotions.
Yeah.
Accept yourself and show up as yourself. Just be yourself. That's a lesson that I just try and execute every day. Yeah. But one lesson that I'm trying to learn at the moment is to not react when I'm emotional.
Okay.
So that's one. But I've never really had a big profound they've all just been constant lessons, just a constant build up.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the one that brings me the most value is just be yourself.
Yes.
Be yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, lean into bits of yourself that scare you and that sort of thing. Amazing.
And we're ending on a very, very intense question. Your favorite hobby?
Man, this question's loaded. As an adult, I don't know, man. What is even a hobby? I always thought hobby had to be a sport,
knitting.
Yeah, literally. But I would say my favorite hobby to do would be dance.
Yeah.
But I just love dancing and I love writing. Yeah. Dancing and writing. Yeah. As exciting as that sounds, that's it. That's what I love to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, girl. No, good answer. Good hobbies.
What's your favorite hobby?
Dancing and writing.
There you go.
No joke. And my listeners will know that.
I love.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think it's just that when you're a creative, just it's another form of expression, and both dancing and writing, it just gets it out. And when you feel so much and you think so deeply, it's so nice to have an outlet.
It's a mind dump and a body dump.
It's the best. And I've done it since when you were talking about dancing in the mirror before. I had a very strict upbringing. I was pretty much locked in my room, and then wasn't allowed to do dance classes. Is all I wanted to do. And I had this full length mirror, and I used to dance in front of the mirror and taught myself how to dance my whole, from, it would have been 8 through to when I finished high school. I danced every night for 3 hours. And so I get it. It's just it must have unlocked something in me. I went on to be a professional dancer.
Oh, really?
But,
amazing.
Yeah.
What genre?
Latin mainly. But house club dancing. There's a few clubs in Brisbane that I was the head dancer for. Yeah. So but I would
love to see you dance.
We can go dancing. That can be arranged.
I would love to watch you dance.
I'm not mad about it.
Oh my God, yes, let's go dancing.
Yes,
let's
absolutely.
go dancing. Oh my God,
Yep.
fuck, can we please?
Yes, this weekend.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, no, it's just like, it makes me come alive. And when I don't do it, when I haven't written a poem for a while, or I haven't danced for a while, I feel locked up. It was speaking to me before when you were saying all those things. It just, I know that it's time to go to dance class, or it's time to just put some music on, and it instantly frees me. It's just, same hobbies for sure. Flashback faves. So next up, we have a segment called Flashback Faves, and I want to know one of your fave core memories in the form of a song or a movie or a TV show from your childhood that you just still adore, because I feel like it gives us a bit of an insight to what you were like growing up.
Oh God, my memory is so bad, but I do have one. I actually have I struggle with my memory. Like I'm like, do I have like early onset dementia or something? Like, I don't know.
Well,
my memory is so bad.
Talking about this the other day with Brielle. It's like almost when you have had trauma in your childhood, it's like
trauma brain. Someone said.
Yeah. You just sort of put that away, and it's hard to sort of tap into.
But like, not even like just my life. Yeah. Like, where is it? I don't know. Yeah. That's why I need to start writing and journaling every day, because then I can read back and be like, oh, that happened. Yeah. You know, it's like everything's so fast paced.
Yes.
You know, that you just. But we do so much. But my favorite memory growing up with dancing involved. So one of my favorite songs is Steelers Wheels, Stuck in the Middle with You.
Oh my gosh, love it. Yes.
Yeah. And when we were growing up, my mum was quite young when she had me and my brother, and when her and my dad were together, we'd have house parties sometimes. And like a core memory is me like, our parents were drunk and you're like, get away from me, like hiding on the table, like so embarrassed. Like, you're so loud. Like, what's going on? Why do you have personality? What the fuck? Like, you know? And when that song would come on, it didn't matter where my mum and dad were. They would come in out of nowhere and dance together.
Oh my gosh.
And I can vividly remember my dad like, to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am. And they'll just be dancing with that song. So whenever that song comes on now, I love it. I will just V-line for the dance floor and dance straight away. So that's probably one of my like favorite memories growing up as a child. But to be honest, I can't remember. Like that one stands out for me.
Beautiful.
I think it's because it's linked to music.
Yeah. And I love that song.
I feel like that's why I can remember that really well. But it's a really good memory.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. That says a lot. We're at the end. But I want to finish with our usual segment, Words to Live Your Week By. Words to live your week by. Each week we finish with a favourite quote or saying of yours, and you did tell me before we started recording that you write poetry, and I begged Bianca to say, can we have some spoken word? But no, I will respect that boundary. Maybe one day.
I'll call the cat team on me if I do that, honestly.
But honestly, is there a favourite quote of yours that you'd like to share with the listeners today?
I don't have a favourite quote. I don't have a favourite quote.
That's okay.
But let me think. Maybe I have a message.
Yes, I feel like you would have a message.
Let me think. I don't have like a favourite quote or anything, but I really just feel like everyone should love themselves a little bit more and just accept themselves a little bit more and not look at your emotions as good and bad. When you're feeling angry or sad or anxious, not look at it like this is bad. Like, just lean into it. It's just an emotion. It's not good. It's not bad. It's there for a reason.
Yes.
And accept that. And I just feel like if you accept that, you'll be able to flow a little bit better.
Oh, Bianca, amazing. Honestly, it has been such a thrill chatting to you today. You're so smart. I have no freaking doubt in my mind that you're going to go places, and in 10 years' time you will be retired. Yeah. After a very successful career doing whatever you choose to do. Thank you for taking the time today, and I'm I'm buzzing, and I will be for a long time.
Oh,
so
me
thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Amazing.
This is great.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And there we go. Thank you for listening. If you loved this week's episode, please leave a review or provide a 5-star rating. It really helps us let us know that you're loving the show. And of course, any DMs and comments and shares, we really appreciate as well. All the feedback has been amazing. Thank you so much. You can stay up to date with us and follow our socials, Big Love Energy Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. But we'll pop all the social handles in the show notes below. Thanks for listening, lovers. I can't wait to get into next week's episode. We'll chat then. Bye.
I don't want just anybody. Let me treat you like somebody.